I didn't just meet the mistress, I styled her hair. He thought he could juggle two lives, mine and hers. But when she sat in my salon chair and told me his secrets, she gave me the tools to cut him down to size. Chapter 1: The Shift. It started with something small, the kind of thing most people would brush off. He used to toss his keys in the same ceramic bowl by the door every night, like clockwork. But then one Thursday, he slipped in after midnight and laid them gently on the counter instead, as if he didn't want to wake me. I noticed. I always noticed. "Rough day?" I asked from the couch, where I'd pretended to be half asleep. He startled, then smiled too quickly. "Yeah, just work ran late. You know how it is." I tilted my head. Work doesn't usually smell like perfume. His eyes flickered, just for a second, before he chuckled and leaned down to kiss my forehead. "You're imagining things." I grabbed dinner with the guys after. Place was packed. Probably someone walked past me. I didn't argue, but I didn't forget either. The thing about being a stylist is you train your eyes for details, new highlights, a hidden patch of split ends, a client who swears she hasn't changed her hair routine but smells faintly of bleach. You learn to catch the little things other people miss, and lately, my boyfriend's little things didn't add up. First, it was his cologne. He'd worn the same brand since college, musky, woodsy, familiar. One morning, I leaned in to kiss him goodbye and caught a lighter, fruitier scent instead. When I asked, he shrugged. Got a free sample at the mall. Thought I'd try it. He never tried new things. Then there was the phone. Always face down now, always locked tight. If I so much as glanced at it, he'd snatch it up with a laugh. "Geez, curious much?" he'd joke. But his hand was just a little too quick. The showers, too, longer, steamier. He used to sing while the water ran. Now, silence. And when I asked harmless questions, like who Brianna was on his notifications, he answered too fast, like he'd practiced the lie. "Coworker, new hire, she's harmless." One night, we were on the couch eating lo mein from the cartons. His phone buzzed. He picked it up and smiled. One of those private, curling smiles I hadn't seen in months. "What's so funny?" I asked lightly. He angled the phone just out of reach. "Memes. Work group chat. You wouldn't get it." The silence stretched. I forced a laugh, but my chest burned. Maybe once I would have let it go, told myself I was overthinking. But I knew better now. The truth always shows up in the details. And if he thought I wouldn't notice, he was about to find out just how closely I paid attention. What I didn't realize yet was that the answer I was looking for wouldn't come from his phone, or his late nights, or his excuses. It would walk straight through the salon door and sit down in my chair. Chapter 2: The Salon Connection. The salon was buzzing that Saturday morning, the kind of chaos I secretly thrived on. Blow dryers roared. The scent of hairspray and fresh dye hung in the air, and clients leaned back in chairs, chatting about everything from their kids' soccer games to last night's date. I had just finished a balayage on one of my regulars when the receptionist waved me over. "Walk in for you," she mouthed, sliding a new client card across the counter. I glanced down. Name: Claire. Shoulder-length brunette. Service: cut plus style. I smiled as she approached. She was polished, the type of woman who looked effortlessly put together. Designer bag, manicured nails, gold hoops that caught the light. Still, there was something warm in her smile, unguarded in a way that immediately put me at ease. "Hi, Claire," I said, leading her toward my chair. "Thanks for squeezing me in," she said, slipping into the seat. "I just moved here and haven't found a stylist yet. My friend said this place was the best." "Well, let's get you settled." I draped the cape around her shoulders, fastening it at the back. "What are we thinking today?" She sighed, running her fingers through her hair. "Something fresh. My boyfriend keeps teasing me about changing things up. He's obsessed with the idea of me going lighter. Says it'll match my sunny personality." She laughed, shaking her head. I told him, "You're lucky I let you weigh in at all." I chuckled softly, comb gliding through her hair. Men and their opinions. "Right," she said brightly. "But that's Ethan for you. Always cracking jokes. Always wearing that old leather jacket like he's stuck in a movie from the 90s. The comb froze in my hand. "Ethan?" I asked lightly, forcing my voice not to catch. She nodded, oblivious. "Yeah, Ethan. He's always late. Always leaves his keys behind. Last week, he showed up at my place without his charger and spent the whole night stealing mine. She rolled her eyes, smiling. Drives me crazy, but he's worth it. The room tilted for a moment, the roar of dryers fading to static. The leather jacket, the forgotten keys, the charger, the one I'd accused him of misplacing just 2 nights ago. My Ethan. I swallowed hard and forced a steady smile in the mirror. Sounds like quite the character. She laughed, her cheeks flushing. Yeah, he is. And I kept cutting, hands steady, expression calm, because that's what I'd always done. Stayed composed, professional, unshaken. But inside, the truth seared through me like a blade. It wasn't suspicion anymore. It was certainty. The other woman wasn't a stranger. She was sitting in my chair. Chapter 3. Clues in conversation. Claire's voice was light, animated, the kind of client who talked easily once you got her started. I kept my eyes on her hair, comb gliding through strands, but every word she said pressed deeper into me like a pin. So, I asked casually, how long have you two been together? Almost 6 months, she said, smiling at her reflection. Feels longer, though. He's got that, that larger-than-life energy. When Ethan's around, you feel it. I managed a soft hum of agreement. 6 months, right about the time he started working late. Claire fiddled with her phone as I sectioned her hair. A text lit up the screen, just a preview, a little heart emojied beside the name, Ethan. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to breathe evenly. What does he do for work? I asked, keeping my tone airy. Finance, though honestly he makes it sound more complicated than it is. Always traveling for client dinners, working late. Closing deals, she grinned. He jokes that I should be his secretary with how often he forgets his calendar. Just the other night he double-booked himself, poor thing. My hand stilled mid-snip. Double-booked. That was the night he told me his boss had dragged him out for drinks. He came home tipsy, humming the same off-key tune he always did when he lied. I shifted, covering the pause by tucking a stray lock behind her ear. He sounds busy. Oh, completely. But thoughtful too. Claire went on. Last week he took me to La Scala, said it was his go-to spot. Ordered the house Cabernet before I even opened the menu. She smiled at the memory. La Scala, my favorite Italian place. The same one he'd surprised me with for my birthday. Even bragged that the staff knew him by name. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. That's a good place. Really popular. Right? Claire said. He's always full of surprises, like he still wears that watch from his dad. Old, kind of clunky, but he says it's sentimental. Won't take it off for anything. I felt my stomach twist. The watch. The one I'd had engraved for him last Christmas. Not from his father, but from me. Claire's phone buzzed again. Another preview lit up. Ethan, can't wait to see you tonight. I smiled politely, trimming another section of hair as if nothing inside me had cracked. Sounds like you two have a good thing going, she beamed. I think so. And I kept working, each snip of the scissors masking the sound of my heart breaking. Chapter 4, Confirmation. By the time I'd finished blow-drying Claire's hair, my hands ached from keeping them steady. Every word she'd said was another nail in the coffin of denial, and yet she spoke with such brightness, as if she'd been handed a gift instead of a lie. She angled her head in the mirror, smiling. Wow, you're amazing. It's been ages since I felt this good about my hair. Glad you like it, I said softly, brushing a final strand into place. Claire's phone buzzed on her lap. She picked it up without hesitation, screen lighting with his name again. She giggled at the text. Ethan, don't forget tonight. I'll bring that wine you liked. I leaned over, pretending to adjust the cape, and caught a glimpse of his contact photo. My Ethan grinning in the same leather jacket she'd described. His arm slung around my shoulder. She hadn't even cropped me out. She just didn't realize. The room seemed to narrow around me, the chatter of dryers fading until it was just me, her, and the phone in her hand. Sorry, Claire said, tucking it away. He's persistent. Sweet, but persistent. I forced my mouth into a curve. Better than the time you forget to text back, right? She laughed. Exactly. He always says I keep him grounded. Calls me his good luck charm. Can you believe that? I nodded, though my stomach turned. He'd called me the same thing once, whispering it against my neck after a long day. The recycled affection made my skin crawl. She adjusted the cape, then looked at me with sudden warmth. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Guess it's easier to gush to someone who doesn't know him. Oh, I know the type, I said, voice calm, steady, practiced. What she didn't realize was that I knew exactly who he was. As I unclipped the cape and shook it free, a thought anchored itself in my chest. He hadn't just betrayed me. He had paraded his lie into my world, sat it right in my chair, and smiled as if I'd never notice. But I did notice. I always noticed. Claire stood, admiring her reflection. Seriously, thank you. You're a lifesaver. Ethan's going to flip when he sees me tonight. I met her eyes in the mirror and let a small, knowing smile play at my lips. Oh, and sure he will. And in that moment, my decision hardened. This wasn't suspicion anymore. This was war. Chapter 5. Holding it together. That night, I sat on the couch, a blanket draped over my legs, the TV humming some sitcom I wasn't really watching. The door clicked open, and in came Ethan, my Ethan, grinning like the world was his. "Hey, babe," he said, leaning down to kiss me. His cologne hit first, the same lighter scent Claire had mentioned. I kept my face neutral as his lips brushed my cheek. "You're late," I murmured. He dropped his keys, in the bowl this time, like he remembered the routine, and kicked off his shoes. Yeah, meeting ran long, then the guys dragged me out for drinks. I turned down the volume. "The guys, huh?" "Mm-hmm." He flopped onto the couch beside me, arm draped casually over my shoulders. You know how it is. They'd fall apart without me. I studied his profile in the glow of the TV. The easy grin, the relaxed posture. He was good. Too good. Claire had no idea she was sharing her boyfriend with me, and he had no idea that I already knew. "What'd you eat?" I asked lightly. He hesitated. Just for a fraction of a second. Wings. Standard bar food." I almost laughed. La Scala didn't serve wings. "Sounds messy," I said, curling closer into his arm. He relaxed, thinking he'd dodged the question. Inside, my thoughts churned. He wasn't just cheating. He was recycling the same lines, the same places, the same charm, like we were all interchangeable props in his little performance. "Want me to make popcorn?" he asked, grabbing the remote. "No, I'm good." I leaned my head against his chest, listening to the steady thump of his heartbeat. Outwardly, I was the picture of calm. Inside, my blood roared. He scrolled through Netflix, humming tunelessly. The same hum Claire had probably heard when he stole her charger, when he told her she was his good luck charm. "You okay?" he asked suddenly, glancing down at me. I forced a small smile. "Yeah, just tired." He nodded, satisfied, and turned back to the screen. And I lay there, memorizing the details, the way his lies slid so easily off his tongue, the way he thought his double life was seamless. He thought I hadn't noticed. He thought I was just another woman in his rotation of routines, but he was wrong. Because I wasn't planning to leave quietly. I was planning to make sure both of us, me and Claire, had front row seats when his little empire crumbled. Chapter 6. The Sisterhood Twist. For days after Claire sat in my chair, I turned her words over in my mind like a blade. Every laugh, every casual detail she dropped replayed in my head until it hollowed me out. She wasn't smug. She wasn't cruel. She was just in the dark. And I couldn't bring myself to hate her for that. Ethan was the liar. Ethan was the thief of loyalty, stealing not just my trust, but hers too. Still, I couldn't shake the image of Claire's bright smile in the mirror, the way she talked about him like he was her anchor. That's when the thought began to fester. What if she knew the truth? What if we stopped letting him write the story for us? It started small. I pulled up her client card after hours, reread the neat handwriting she'd left behind. Claire Evans, new to the city. She'd written her email in a looping script. I drafted a message 3 times before finally hitting send. "Hi, Claire. It's your stylist from the salon. Hope you're enjoying your cut. I wanted to follow up because we were talking about your boyfriend the other day, and I think we need to talk." I stared at the screen for a long time after, nerves buzzing. The reply came less than an hour later. "Sure. Coffee? Tomorrow?" We met at a small cafe tucked off Main Street. Claire walked in wearing that same polished ease, but when she spotted me waving from the corner, her smile faltered. She slid into the chair across from me. "I have a feeling this isn't about hair," she said. I folded my hands around my cup. "No, it's about Ethan." Her face shifted, surprise first, then confusion, then something colder. What about him? I took a breath. He isn't just your boyfriend. He's mine too. For a moment, silence stretched between us, broken only by the hiss of the espresso machine. Claire blinked, then let out a shaky laugh. That's some kind of joke, right? I shook my head slowly. The leather jacket, the watch, La Scala, the charger he forgot at your place. All the things you told me, they're mine too. Her expression crumpled, the truth sliding into place. She pressed a hand to her mouth. Oh my God. I don't blame you, I said softly. You didn't know, but now you do. Claire's eyes glistened, but her voice hardened. So what do we do? And in that moment, I realized we were enemies. We were allies. Chapter 7, Digging Deeper. We sat in that cafe for hours, two women bound together by the same betrayal. What started as disbelief shifted into something sharper, determination. Claire scrolled through her phone, opening messages, receipts, photos. He told me he was in Chicago 2 weekends ago, said it was a client dinner. Look. She pushed the phone across the table. There was Ethan, grinning with a whiskey glass in hand, city skyline behind him. My chest tightened. That same night, he told me he was stuck in the office. He ordered pizza on his way home, said the guys were watching the game. Claire's mouth twisted. He texted me right after, said he wished I was there. We both sat back, staring at the pile of evidence. His double life wasn't neat. It was messy, riddled with careless overlaps he assumed we'd never see. What about La Scala? I asked. He took me there 2 weeks ago, Claire said bitterly. Said it was his special spot. Ordered the house Cabernet before I could even speak. He acted like he was showing me his world. I let out a hollow laugh. He ordered the exact same thing for me on my birthday. The weight of it pressed down on both of us. Not just betrayal, but laziness. Recycled dates, repeated lines. He hadn't even bothered to make the lies creative. Claire tapped her screen again, pulling out the text. This was last Friday. He told me he couldn't see me because he was at a work conference in Dallas. I snorted. Dallas? He was sitting on my couch, eating Thai takeout and binge-watching Ozark. Her laugh broke, jagged around the edges, but it was a laugh all the same. Unbelievable. I leaned forward, lowering my voice. He thinks he's invincible. That's why he's sloppy. But if we line this all up, the texts, the receipts, the photos, we'll have a timeline that proves everything. Claire's eyes sharpened. You want to show him? No. I shook my head slowly. Showing him just gives him room to spin it. Men like Ethan always twist the story. He'll call us crazy, jealous. He'll say we misunderstood. Then what? I let the silence stretch, sipping my coffee as the idea settled, solidifying. We show everyone else. Claire blinked, then leaned back, her smile slow, dangerous. You mean his friends? Family? Whoever he's trying to impress? Exactly, I said. We build the receipts, and then we let him bury himself with his own lies in public. For the first time since the salon, Claire's laughter rang clear, steady. You know, I think I like you. I smiled back. I think he won't. Chapter 8, Setting the Stage. The next week was a blur of secret exchanges and late-night planning. Claire and I became co-conspirators, trading screenshots like ammunition. Every text, every receipt, every photo was cataloged into a neat little folder we labeled Truth. By Thursday, it was overflowing. He reuses everything, Claire muttered one night as we sat in my apartment, our laptops glowing between us. She pulled up a message from him. You're my good luck charm. Then she clicked over to another, nearly identical text he'd sent me 3 months earlier. He doesn't even try, I said flatly. He thinks we're interchangeable. Claire's lip curled. Then let's prove we're not. That was when the question came. How? We both knew confronting him privately would be pointless. He'd smirk, gaslight, twist the narrative until we doubted ourselves. He thrived in shadows, in half-truths whispered between late nights and locked phones. So we decided to drag him into the light. Dinner, I said finally. He loves an audience. He can't resist showing off. Claire's brow arched. A setup? A reveal, I corrected. Someplace where he feels untouchable. Surrounded by people who believe every word that comes out of his mouth. It didn't take long to pick the perfect stage. Ethan's mother's birthday dinner, an annual production he never missed. He'd bragged about it just last week, saying, "Everyone looks to me to keep things lively." Claire smirked. "So we make it lively." We mapped it out carefully. I'd arrive with him, smiling like the dutiful girlfriend. Claire would accidentally arrive at the same restaurant with a reservation Ethan had made for her the night before. And then, when he was basking, juggling us both with that smug grin, we'd drop the folder on the table. The receipts, the lies, the overlap so damning no spin could save him. "You sure you're ready for this?" Claire asked, studying me over the rim of her glass of wine. "Ready," I said, my voice low but steady. "I've been waiting for this since the first night he came home smelling like someone else's perfume." Her smile turned sharp. "Then let's end him." We clinked glasses, sealing the pact. Ethan thought he had us fooled. He thought we'd stay quiet, orbiting around his charm like planets around the sun. But he had no idea that the two women he tried to play against each other were already aligning. And when the night came, his spotlight would turn into his noose. Chapter 9. The Smug Boyfriend. The restaurant glowed with soft candlelight, the kind of place Ethan loved because it made him feel important. He walked in with his arm around me, chest puffed out, grinning like he owned the room. "Reservation for Keller," he told the host, emphasizing his name as though the whole place should recognize it. I smiled at him sweetly, slipping my hand into his. On the outside, I was the picture of support. On the inside, every step closer to that table felt like walking a fuse toward dynamite. His family was already gathered when we arrived. His mother beamed, kissing him on the cheek. "There's my golden boy. We were starting to think you'd gotten lost." "Never," Ethan said, pulling out my chair for me with exaggerated charm. "Wouldn't miss celebrating the woman who made me who I am." I caught the eye roll his sister barely suppressed. Even they were tired of his theatrics. Dinner began with wine and laughter, Ethan dominating the conversation as always. He bragged about his job, the big deal he was closing, the late nights spent saving clients millions. Every story was polished, rehearsed, delivered with that same smug confidence. "And of course," he said, raising his glass toward me, "I couldn't do it without this one. She keeps me grounded, my good luck charm." The words hit me like déjà vu. Claire's face flashed in my mind, the same phrase. Recycled. I forced a polite laugh as everyone clinked glasses. Halfway through the meal, as dessert menus arrived, the front doors opened again. I felt my pulse spike. Claire walked in. Her dress was simple, elegant, her posture poised. She spoke quietly to the host, then glanced across the dining room. Our eyes met for half a heartbeat, and she gave the smallest nod before following the waiter to a table just a few feet away. Ethan didn't notice at first. He was too busy telling his uncle about his networking trip to Chicago. But when the waiter set down menus at Claire's table, and she adjusted her chair in plain view, his voice faltered mid-sentence. Color drained from his face. He blinked once, twice, then pasted on a smile and forced his story to continue, though his words tripped over themselves. I leaned in close, my voice just for him. "Something wrong, Ethan?" He swallowed hard, eyes darting to Claire, then back to me. "No, everything's fine." But his hand trembled slightly as he reached for his wine glass. For the first time, Ethan Keller wasn't in control. And Flea knew it. Chapter 10. The Double Reveal. The hum of conversation filled the restaurant. But at our table, the air had gone still. Ethan kept darting glances at Claire across the room, his smile frozen tight like porcelain ready to crack. I dabbed at my lips with my napkin. "You seem distracted, babe," I said sweetly. "Is something on your mind?" His eyes flicked to me, then back to Claire. No, not at all, just long leak." "Oh, I'm sure." I reached into my purse and pulled out a slim folder, sliding it onto the linen tablecloth between the dessert menus. "Funny thing, though. I ran into someone this week who also had a long week. Thought you might want to say hello." Ethan blinked at the folder, then at me. "What's this?" Before he could touch it, a shadow fell over the table. Claire. She stepped forward, chin high, calm as a queen entering her court. "Hello, Ethan," she said evenly. The entire table went silent. His mother's fork clattered against her plate. Ethan shot to his feet, hands raised like he could smooth the air. "Claire, what are you? This isn't..." Save it, she cut in. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried, drawing the attention of nearby diners. You don't get to spin this anymore. I flipped the folder open, pushing it toward his stunned family. Inside were screenshots, photos, receipts, a neat chronology of his double life. Identical texts sent to both of us. Duplicate dates at La Scala. The work trips that overlapped perfectly with dinners, gifts, and nights spent lying through his teeth. 6 months, I said quietly, my eyes never leaving his. That's how long you've been running your little act. Long enough to recycle lines, to hand us the same compliments like we were interchangeable. But the problem with lies, Ethan, I tapped the folder, is that they leave receipts. His mother gasped, staring at a photo of him with his arm around Claire, time-stamped the same weekend he'd claimed to be homesick. Ethan's face flushed beet red. This is out of context. You don't understand. Claire leaned forward, her voice low and cutting. No, you don't understand. You tried to play us against each other. But we compared notes. Every single one. Murmurs rippled through the restaurant as more diners realized what was happening. Phones lifted discreetly, recording. Ethan looked around wildly, his confidence crumbling. This isn't fair. You set me up. I smiled thinly. No, Ethan, you set yourself up. And in that moment, with the evidence laid bare and the crowd watching, the golden boy finally began to unravel. Chapter 11, Public Humiliation. Ethan's voice cracked as he tried to pull the room back under his control. Mom, don't listen to them. This is some mistake. They're lying. His laugh was hollow, desperate. You know me. You know I'd never. His mother shoved the folder back at him, her hands trembling. Is this true? Ethan, are these your words? Your face in these pictures? His uncle leaned over her shoulder, frowning. Looks pretty damn clear to me. The room buzzed. Diners at nearby tables craned their necks, whispering. A phone camera's red light blinked steadily, capturing every second. Ethan's jaw worked furiously. Out of context. You don't understand. These women are jealous. They're trying to ruin me. Claire's laugh cut sharp through the air. Jealous? You promised me forever, while using the same recycled lines on her. She pointed to me without breaking eye contact with him. We compared everything, Ethan. Your texts, your receipts, even your cologne. I added calmly. You told me La Scala was our special place. You told her the exact same thing 2 weeks later. You didn't even bother to change the wine order. The ripple of laughter from a nearby table landed like a slap. Ethan's face burned crimson. Shut up, he barked suddenly, slamming his palm against the table. Glasses rattled. His mother gasped. Both of you are crazy. I don't have to sit here and take this. He grabbed his jacket, shoving his arms through the sleeves. But Claire stepped in front of him. Her voice was cold, steady. You don't get to run this time. His sister stood too, folding her arms. God, Ethan. I wondered why you were always late, always making excuses. Now it makes sense. You're pathetic. Ethan's head whipped toward her. Don't talk to me like that. But his father cut him off, his voice low and final. Sit down, son. The weight of his father's disappointment landed harder than any slap. Ethan froze, half standing, jacket crooked on his shoulders. Around us, whispers swelled into open commentary. Cheating scumbag. Two-timer. Caught red-handed. More phones rose, documenting his fall from grace. I leaned back in my chair, my voice even. This isn't just about us, Ethan. This is about you thinking you could live a double life without consequences. But everyone sees you now. No more secrets. No more lies. He looked around the restaurant, his family's glares, the strangers recording. The 2 women he thought he controlled now standing united. And for the first time, there was nowhere left for him to hide. Chapter 12, The Final Blow. The folder still lay open on the table. His lies spread out like stains no one could scrub clean. Ethan's face was red, jaw tight, his usual charm shattered into pieces too small to glue back together. Enough, his mother said firmly, pushing her chair back. I won't sit here while my son humiliates this family. You've lied to us, Ethan. Lied to me. Mom? No, her voice cracked, but her eyes were steel. You've brought shame to this table, to this name. His father added, voice low and final. You're done here tonight. Get out. Ethan's laugh was jagged, desperate. Oh, that's just perfect. You'll take their side over mine, over your own blood? His sister stood, arms crossed. You don't get it, do you? This isn't about sides. You played both of them, and now you're paying for it. Across the room, diners murmured in agreement. Phones stayed lifted, recording every second. A waiter hovered nearby, caught between duty and morbid fascination. Claire folded her arms. You know what I realized, Ethan? You're not even creative. You gave me the same birthday toast you gave her. You even recycled the good luck charm line. You didn't just cheat, you were lazy about it. A ripple of laughter spread through the restaurant. Someone clapped. Ethan flinched as if the sound had struck him. I leaned forward, my voice calm but sharp. You built your life on lies, Ethan. And tonight, they caught up with you. The women you thought were your secrets are standing right here, together. And everyone else? I gestured at the phones pointed his way. They're watching too. Ethan's bravado crumbled. He looked around, frantic, searching for a lifeline, but found none. His family's disgust, Claire's fury, my calm resolve. And the stranger's judgment closed in on him like walls. He shoved the folder shut, voice hoarse. Fine, you want to ruin me? Congratulations, I'm ruined. No, I said softly. You ruined yourself. His father's credit card hit the table with a sharp snap. The bill is paid. Get out, Ethan. Don't come back until you've learned what it means to be a man. Ethan stood, his jacket hanging crooked, eyes wild. He muttered curses under his breath as he stumbled past the recording phones, every step echoing with the weight of his downfall. The door slammed behind him, leaving only silence in his wake. And in that silence, Claire and I exchanged a glance, not of pain, but of victory. Epilogue, the final cut. The following week, the salon hummed as usual. Dryers roaring, scissors snipping, conversations drifting from gossip to weekend plans. But for me, everything felt sharper, cleaner, as if the air itself had been cut free of weight. Claire stopped by my chair on her lunch break, her hair bouncing from the fresh trim I'd given her. She looked lighter, too, not just in style, but in spirit. Funny, she said as she gathered her things, how you can think someone is the center of your world, and then one night you realize he was just noise. I smiled. Noise fades. She squeezed my hand before leaving, and I watched her go with a sense of solidarity I hadn't expected a month ago. She was supposed to be the enemy. Instead, she had become my ally. As I cleaned up my station, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. No longer the woman doubting her instincts, biting her tongue, wondering if she was imagining the cracks. I'd seen them, I'd named them, and I'd cut straight through them. Ethan, meanwhile, had become a punchline. Videos of his meltdown at the restaurant made their way across social media. His red face, his stammering denials, the folder of receipts laid out like evidence in a courtroom. Good luck charm guy, the captions read, paired with laughing emojis. I didn't need to watch them more than once. The world had already seen what I needed it to see. Clients whispered about him, too, piecing it together in half-hushed tones. Wasn't that your boyfriend, the one everyone's talking about? I just smiled and kept trimming, letting the silence answer for me. One afternoon, as I swept a pile of hair from the floor, I thought about the irony of it all. My entire career was built on noticing details others missed. The way hair lay against a jawline, the undertone in a shade of color. And in the end, it was that same attention to detail that caught him. He thought I wouldn't notice. But I did. And when the time came, I didn't just notice. I cut the truth clean open and let him bleed out in it. The bell above the salon door jingled as a new client walked in, smiling nervously, hair in need of rescue. I gestured toward my chair, my scissors gleaming under the light. Have a seat, I said warmly. Let's start fresh. And for the first time in months, I wasn't just talking about the hair.